everyone, and welcome back to Scandalous Media. It's Alana here, and more has progressed with Ariana's relationship with Ethan since the release of her album Eternal Sunshine and promo for their new movie Wicked. Eternal Sunshine is Ariana's 7th studio album, and it came at a time when Ariana was yet again facing heavy criticism from the public eye based on her controversial relationships and actions. Ariana's new album Eternal Sunshine is full of hidden details and real-life references. She said in an interview that the album will say a lot but without saying much at the same time, and I sort of disagree. I feel like this album opens up a lot more than Ariana anticipated. She sings about her divorce from Dalton Gomez, her new boyfriend Ethan Slater, and also pays homage to her previous albums with lyrics from Eternal Sunshine mirroring or complementing past songs of Ariana's. So let's take the album track by track and follow it up with real-life references that you might not have noticed were there. Make sure to like and subscribe for more. Comment down below your thoughts on Ariana's new album. How do you feel about Ariana and Ethan showcasing their relationship more publicly? And tell us what other videos you want to see us talking about next. Before we get started, I'm really excited to be partnering up with Rose Forever again. You guys know we love these luxury flowers that come in a bunch of vibrant colors in beautiful velvet boxes. Rose Forever is a brand that designs luxury rose boxes with natural roses that stay fresh for a whole year. This is the perfect gift to give someone because it's low maintenance and stays gorgeous all year round. Mother's Day is coming right around the corner, and this would be a perfect gift to give someone to make them feel special and appreciated. There are many different types of roses you can choose from, such as traditional red, royal blue, pink, white, and so much more. The boxes come in different sizes, shapes, materials, and they're also vegan options. I ended up going with these beautiful pastel blue roses, and I just love keeping them out because they double as both flowers and elegant decor. Shop Rose Forever and use our code SMedia40 for $40 off, and you can combine it with code SMedia for free shipping. That way you are not paying any extra costs. Thank you to Rose Forever for partnering up with me on this video, and now let's get into the mind of Ariana Grande as I decode every hidden story that Ariana exposes through her lyrics. Ariana starts the beginning of the album with the song titled End of the World, saying, "How can I tell if I'm in the right relationship? Aren't you supposed to know that shit?" Most people believe she's talking about Dalton Gomez in this line because she's questioning if she's with the right person or not. Then she says, "Then I had this interaction. I've been thinking about it for like 5 weeks. Wonder if he's thinking about it too and smiling. Wonder if he knows that he's been what's inspiring me. Wonder if he's judging me like I am right now." And somehow we took a quick left turn to Ethan's street. So the song goes from her questioning her relationship with Dalton to her thinking about this new guy she's met and the interaction they had together 5 weeks ago. He's getting her excited and smiling, and it's what's inspiring her again. In real life, the timeline goes, Ariana and Dalton get divorced, and Ariana and Ethan start dating. Now, whether you want to believe they dated after the divorce or not, it's up to you, but in the song, she's still with Dalton when she's thinking about this new guy. And Ariana told Zach Sang that when she was writing the song, she had no intention for the world to hear it, so do with that information as you will. But so far, the album picks right up when things are going downhill with Dalton, and things are starting to get heated with Ethan. Some sources have said that during this time, Dalton wasn't really visiting Ariana while she was away at work, and she felt really lonely during this time. The second track on the album is titled Bye, and it's all about her divorce with Dalton Gomez. Ariana said that this song was the most difficult to write for the album, and that the word bye is a very simple and silly lyric, and she didn't want it to sound like she was saying F you to Dalton. She just wanted it to be rooted in self-awareness and for the message to just be her saying, I need to leave.
What was the hardest song to write, and what was the easiest song to write on this album?
Hardest? I think Bye. Honestly, it's a very simple and silly lyric, and it's not, but it was hard for the reason that I desperately didn't want it to sound like a f you. I wanted it to sound like, I need to leave, so bye.
The lyrics are pretty self-explanatory, with Ariana saying, boy bye, it's over, it's over. She seems to point some blame on Dalton for not choosing to put Ariana first by saying, maybe someday we'll look back with love. Didn't think you'd lose me, now it's just too late to choose me. Again, tugging on this narrative that was going on in real time, which was that Dalton wasn't putting much effort with Ariana while she was halfway across the world filming. Even though Ariana doesn't name Dalton in the song, it's quite clear it's about him and how Ariana trusts her instincts to leave the relationship. Ariana opened up about how her parents' divorce affected her as a child, causing her to constantly chase a happy ever after that she didn't find in her own home. Her parents' divorce might have affected the way she is during her relationships now.
I think growing up, you want what you don't have. My parents got divorced for all the right reasons. And you kind of crave when you grow up the happily ever after. The one is the one is the one. You cling on to that fairy tale. You kind of self-abandon.
Another detail Ariana put in there is naming a personal friend. The song name drops a lifelong friend of Ariana's named Courtney when she says, "So I grabbed my stuff, Courtney just pulled up in the driveway, it's time." Courtney has been a lifelong friend of Ariana's and was in both the Thank You Next and Seven Rings music video. Courtney also confirmed that she's the one in the song by sharing a text from Ariana asking to use her name in the song. Someone made a good point saying that they love the PR strategy for the album and that it has a really personal touch to it. And as you guys know, I can't help myself when I see a nice PR move being made. Ariana told Zach Sang that Don't Wanna Break Up Again was meant to land as the hangover after the life-changing decision she made in Bye. So it seems right off the bat that the songs are in chronological order, from questioning her relationship and meeting a new guy, to finally saying goodbye, and now this song is the resulting feeling. The song draws out the aftermath of a life-changing decision. It's Ariana saying she doesn't want to go through another breakup, and she hints at Dalton yet again not doing much to keep her. It's just like what she said in Bye, "Didn't think you'd lose me, now it's just too late to choose me." And Don't Wanna Break Up Again, she sings, "I made it so easy, spent so much on therapy with my own codependency. But you didn't even try, when you finally did it was at the wrong time, won't abandon me again for you." Dalton and Ariana's relationship was super low-key during this point, and I feel like I got more info about them in this album than I ever got outside of the album. After the divorce news came out, people started questioning who was in the wrong, as people usually do with celebrity breakups, and it was noticed by fans that Dalton stopped visiting Ariana on the Wicked set. Apparently they would go weeks not seeing each other, and it's not like Dalton does much anyway for him to purposefully choose to stay in LA rather than visit his wife at work. Ariana also says something funny and refers to her marriage with Dalton as a situationship. It's funny because she doesn't refer to it as a marriage or relationship, she flat out says, "This situationship has to end, but I just can't refuse, I don't want to break up again." Maybe the situationship was about how they were living when Ariana was filming Wicked, like the situation wasn't working out for them. But then again, that's just me trying to give Dalton 2 ounces of respect because I know there's always 2 sides to a story. She continues saying, "We both know this time, so we say goodbye. Just a kiss goodbye with tears in her eyes. Hope you won't regret me. Hope you will still think fondly of our little life." It's such a sad song with heavy lyrics, and I can imagine for Ariana going through a divorce was new and challenging, and it wasn't anything like going through a breakup. Especially now that they both sat in court for months filing their divorce, with Ariana paying Dalton's legal fees, because in the state of California, the spouse that makes the higher salary pays the legal fees for the other one. Don't Wanna Break Up Again has a connection to one of Ariana's song Ghosting off of her Thank You Next 2019 album. Saturn Returns Interlude is a reference to a real-time astrological phenomenon in which Saturn returns to the sign it occupied at your birth. Because it takes Saturn about 29 years to orbit the sun, a person's first Saturn return is seen as a celestial coming of age.
A massive thing that I learned in my year of Saturn return is that my fears of replicating a certain cycle was actually the opposite.
Ariana describes that her priorities came into clearer focus and that this time for her was a time for course correction. Course correction, fixing past mistakes, leaving the weight behind, and moving on. It's a nice way of telling the listeners we are now leaving Dalton Town and going into where I am now. The interlude features the voice of Diana Garland, a retired YouTube astrologer, and in the clip that was used, Diana says, "If we've just been sort of relying on our cleverness or relying, just kind of floating along, Saturn comes along and hits you over the head and says, wake up." Saturn Returns Interlude is track 4 on Eternal Sunshine, the same placement as REM on Sweetener released in 2018. Eternal Sunshine is described as a concept album that was partially inspired by the 2004 Jim Carrey's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind movie. Jim Carrey plays the protagonist Joel, and the film follows Joel as he goes through a medical procedure to erase all memories of his ex-girlfriend, Clementine. This was a very symbolical, bold move of basically saying she wishes she could erase her memories with ex-husband Dalton, almost as if the pain is too much to bear, so she'd rather forget. I have a hard time seeing Ariana be so empathetic with Dalton because her actions never show that much empathy to others. I'm not saying she's horrible, but I am saying she engages in behavior that makes me ask, do you really care about anything you're saying right now? Ariana mimics this mind-erasing process in the music video for We Can't Be Friends, where she plays a character called Peaches. The character is also undergoing a medical procedure similar to Joel. The song is nothing like Sunshine, with Ariana singing, "I don't care what people say, we both know I couldn't change you. I guess you could say the same. Can't rearrange truth. I've never seen someone lie like you do, so much even you start to think it's true." Then Ariana says, "Hope you feel alright when you're in her. I found a good boy and he's on my side." Another Dalton and Ethan parallel, where she's saying Dalton's okay with this other girl, while I found a good guy who's on my side. Also, Ariana alludes to Dalton cheating as well because she sings, "So now we play our separate scenes, now she's in my bed laying on your chest. Now I'm in my head wondering how it ends. I'll be the first to say I'm sorry, now you got me feeling sorry. I showed you all my demons, all my lies, yet you played me like Atari." Ariana is consistent in taking the jabs at Dalton for not cherishing her, being loyal, and not knowing how to keep her. It sheds some insight on what was going on behind their marriage. I will also say that Ariana wanting to be married in the first place is what caused her to be with Dalton, and now that she's not married, we are uncovering all of his faults. Parallel to Eternal Sunshine the movie, Ariana sings, "So I try to wipe my mind, just so I feel less insane. Rather feel painless, I'd rather forget than know for sure." Supernatural talks about a love that is basically out of this world. It's supernatural and the love possesses her. She says, "Need your hands all up on my body like the moon needs the stars." The song is fairly short and repeats the same thing over and over again, but it's very catchy and soothing. Ethan might be better with his hands than we have given him credit for, since according to Ariana, this is a supernatural type of love. I also like how she has such a niche vibe with references from outer space, because I too love outer space, and even her having Rem Beauty be very outer space astronaut-like, it feels consistent and is pleasing to follow through with. True Story plays a similar role to Break Up With Your Girlfriend I'm Bored in the sense that it shows Ariana's controversial side when it comes to relationships. Unlike the title of the song, True Story is exactly the opposite of what the song implies. Instead, it's a song that embraces the rumors of Ariana's home-wrecking/heartbreaker reputation, which was amplified by her relationship with Ethan. Ariana sings, "This is a true story about all the lies you fantasized about you and I." I'm guessing a response to us, the general public, and anyone who has concluded things about Ariana and Ethan's relationship. She continues on saying, "I'll play the villain if you need me to. I know how this goes, I'll be the one you pay to see play the scene. Turning like a dime, wasting all their time, sneaking like a creep in the night, but I'll play whatever part you need me to." I think it's funny because she's saying she'll play the part we all labeled her as, but at the end of the day, it still doesn't change what's fact is fact, and Ariana's relationship with Ethan wasn't something the public made up, it was something brought to the public's attention based on the parties involved. We didn't label her as anything. It was Ethan's wife Lily J who labeled her as a homewrecker. Then what solidifies this whole narrative is the next two verses where Ariana sings, "I'll play the bad girl if you need me to. If it makes you feel better, I'll be the one you love to hate. Can't relate, too much on my plate. See it in your eyes, you got too much time. For fun, you like to pray for my demise. But I'll play whatever part you need me to, and I'll be good in it too." Thank you, Savior Ariana, for trying to gaslight us with facts, his wife confirmed without anyone asking her. But hey, I get it, album PR 101 needs to be done. You guys know that I like Ariana, even with all her funny quirks, so I'm just here vibing to her pretending she didn't do what she did. It's funny. I'll play the bad girl if you need me to. But it's like nobody put you in that position, you put yourself in that position. This is her trying to rewrite the story under this bad anthem so that when her fans hear it, it's like, wow, she's eating up all the haters, when in reality, the song is just gaslighting the whole situation. Speaking of funny relationships, The Boy Is Mine plays on the narrative that Ariana took away Ethan and now he's hers. Not sure if this was done for publicity or not, but it's so out there with the lyrics that Ariana couldn't possibly have not known what the general public was going to think. Even if she isn't talking about Ethan, many people are going to put their version of 2 and 2 and say it's for him, which is exactly what happened. Ariana sings, "How can it be? You and me. Might be meant to be, can't unsee it. But I don't want to cause no scene. I'm usually so unproblematic, so independent. Tell me why? 'Cause the boy is mine."
Oh!
This is about Ethan, obviously, because she says, "How can it be, you and me, and I'm usually so unproblematic," hinting at how crazy it was when Ariana and Ethan got together and all of this problematic drama they were involved in. If you recall in the Psychology of Ariana Grande, I talk about how she's been unproblematic for so long that people actually forgot that many of her previous relationships started with chaos and cheating. She genuinely makes it hard not to think the song is about anyone other than Ethan because she sings, "Please know this ain't what I planned, probably won't bet a dime or my life on, there's gotta be a reason why. My girls, they always come through in a sticky situation, say it's fine, happens all the time." How else would you describe Ariana and Ethan getting together besides her being shocked it even happened publicly, it being a sticky situation, and her friends saying it's fine and things like this happen all the time?
Can you imagine what this is gonna mean?
She also sings, "Something about him is made for somebody like me." And Ethan and Ariana are similar in the fact that they both come from a Broadway background, enjoy musicals, and are now tackling the acting world. Ariana says that this is a bad B anthem that her fans enjoy, so she decided to just give it to them. She also says that True Story and The Boy Is Mine are related together because it's an untrue story based on all untrue events. It sets up The Boy Is Mine. It's kind of like, okay, I'll play that bad girl, now here's your bad girl anthem. Girl, it's not gonna happen.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
You can cure cancer, but the one thing you're not gonna cure is this narrative. And God knows I'm trying, but there's no use in denying the boy is mine. Then she says later on, "And I know it's simply meant to be, and I take full accountability for all these tears. Promise you I'm usually not like this, it's new to me, but I can't ignore my heart." The more you think about it, the wilder it gets that she is actually admitting all of this, and it ties in with her relationship with Ethan, and this whole "I take full accountability for all these tears" really makes you wonder who she's talking about. Does she take full accountability for the tears that came from Ethan's wife? From Dalton? From herself? What tears does she believe she is accountable for? "We Can't Be Friends" can be interpreted in many different ways. It sort of seems like it's a response to the public, her ex-husband, and the Ethan storyline all in one. It can just be about one thing or all three, and according to Ariana, it's up to you to decide how to interpret the song. The reason why I highly think the song is about the public while being portrayed as a breakup song is because of the lyrics. Ariana says, "I didn't think you'd understand me. How could you ever even try? I don't want to tiptoe, but I don't want to hide. I don't want to feed this monstrous fire. Just want to let the story die and I'll be alright." What monstrous fire does she not want to feed, and which story does she want to die? Well, it's not like you guys or anyone else needs a full recap of the Ethan Slater and Lily J drama. We've only said it 900 times. This is why I believe she's addressing the public and us, saying that at the current moment, we can't be friends, but she'll wait for our love. Ariana says, "We can't be friends, but I'd like to pretend you cling to your papers and pens, wait until you like me again." This lyric is saying that at this moment, the public isn't friendly with Ariana, and as we all cling to our papers and pens writing our version of the Ethan story, she'll wait until we all like her again. This also coincides with what we said about Ariana in our psychology video of how she knows she can easily get away with things, and all she has to do is wait this drama out because the public forgets and forgives very easily. She's gonna wait for our love. This is a tactic many celebrities use when they are caught up in a fire. They are told by management to stay hidden, give back 1% of acknowledgement, and the public will soon forgive and forget. I will say that Ariana got a huge awakening with the story, and it didn't get swept under the rug as her usual scandals do, which is why I do feel for her in the sense that it must feel like her world just got rocked. But then again, she rocked Lily J's world when she woke up one day to Ethan wanting a divorce so he can date Ariana. She She continues saying, "Me and my truth, we sit in silence. Baby girl, it's just me and you. Cause I don't want to argue, but I don't want to bite my tongue. Yeah, I think I'd rather die. You got me misunderstood, but at least I look this good." She is very pleasing to look at. "We can't be friends, but I'd like to pretend. You cling to your papers and pens. Wait until you like me again. I'll wait for your love." And again with the so-called truth of hers. Listen, the album needed its PR, and we will acknowledge that maybe there is more to the story. But there is no changing the facts that are already present. But the song is wild. Before I looked up the lyrics and understood what she was talking about, I would have never thought this iconic song was for us.
Wait, is this a f***ing play about us?
Thank you, I will accept this award. But all jokes aside, this entire album is a bop, and while we won't forget Ariana, we will stream. Taking the spotlight off of us for a bit, we have the next track with I Wish I Hated You. Ariana says that this song was probably the most painful to write and record, and we will probably never see it performed live either.
There's a song that it sounded like you were crying while recording it.
Probably was. I'm so glad that feeling is captured on this album, but it's one that I won't listen to probably or sing live probably.
This is one of the more emotional tracks on an even more emotional album. It's the final goodbye to Dalton. It describes how hard it is for her to move on from a past relationship when you don't hate the person. It's also towards the end of the album because it shows that even though time has moved on and distance has taken its place, she'll still randomly hurt for the relationship even if she's in this next phase in her life. I have to say the album placement is very pleasing. I almost feel like I've lived these experiences with her. If you've ever been in a situation where you're trying to move on from a person who wasn't horrible to you, it does leave you in this mindset of, well, how am I supposed to move on and list all the things I hate about you when you didn't really do much to me? It's easy to say good riddance and move on when a person gives you much reason, but it's almost harder to say goodbye when you can't actually hate the person. Ariana says, "But no matter how hard I try, and no matter how I want to, and no matter how easy things could be if I did, and no matter how guilty, I still feel saying it, I wish I hated you. I wish that weren't true. Wish there was worse to you. I wish you were worse to me. Yeah, I wish I hated you." She's honest in a way that I don't even think she knows, because this album sheds a lot of truth, and when she said it was going to say a lot and nothing at the same time, I didn't really get that vibe. And can the best song please stand up? Imperfect for You. So satisfying to the ear. Guess I have to thank Ethan once again for another great song. And I genuinely cannot believe Ariana dedicated all these love songs to him. It's very interesting. With lyrics such as, "How could we know this was a happy disaster?" and "Let's go tonight, 'cause there's a few seconds till tomorrow," Ariana categorizes her safety and happiness in her current relationship with Ethan, even making mention of his beloved guitar. Wild. The chorus also mentions all of Ariana's insecurities, with her saying she's f***ed up, anxious, too much, but she'll love him like he needs her to. Also, someone mentioned the genius wordplay in the song's phrase. When she sings imperfect for you, it sometimes sounds like I'm perfect for you. This means that all of her imperfections make her the perfect match for Ethan. She's a lyrical genius. Run her coins. And we close off the album with Ordinary Things featuring Ariana's grandmother, who she calls Nonna. Ariana says that she didn't know how the album set list would flow, but one thing she knew for sure was that she was going to be closing off the album with Ordinary Things. The song Ordinary Things gives advice on leaving a relationship while also reflecting on the ordinary things in a relationship that are oftentimes more special than the extravagant displays of love. She says this by saying, "I don't need no diamonds, just your time." At the end of the song, her Nonna recalls being head over heels in a relationship of her own, saying, "And when he'd come home and I'd see him, when he first gets off that train, it was like God Almighty arrived. It was like seeing daylight." Her Nonna also recalls the rocky times too, saying, "I mean, I could have packed up and left a million times, you know? It's not that we never fought. Never go to bed without kissing goodnight. That's the worst thing to do. Don't ever do that. And if you can't, and if you don't feel comfortable doing it, you're in the wrong place. Get out." Sound advice. And that's a wrap on Ariana's Eternal Sunshine. How did you guys feel about this album? Did you truly feel like it represented what was going on in the public eye? I honestly think it's one of her best albums. I usually have a hard time enjoying all of Ariana's songs, so the fact that nothing is a skip for me on this album, except Yes and, is very exciting. Well, let us know how you feel down in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.